Bonjour!
Bonsoir.
Dear friends, I'm with the beautiful, charming Kara Chamberlain, the one and only, to celebrate with you this amazing coming New Year. And this is JCB Caviar, because what to do but to be patient. And you know how you do it on the table?
Give it a little tap. And we'll wait for it to fly.
You see? And it's gonna come. Don't we love it? Well, I'm gonna take the wet part and give you the dry part.
Why, thank you.
My great pleasure. So, Kara, what are you gonna do for the holidays and more importantly, the New Year's?
Well, for the holidays, I always find around Christmas it's family time, but for New Year's, it's about party time. And that's where we want to indulge in some of the finest things that are around, and that always includes bubbles and caviar for me.
So it's been a dream, dear friends. Kara Chamberlain, graduate of the CIA, Master Court of Sommelier, so the wine experts and the food experts. Why do you love caviar so much?
I fell in love with caviar when I started working with Jean-Charles, mainly because it has this great subtlety to it. It has this awesome nuance. The flavor profile is complex and rich in the smallest amount of bite. So when you're able to wow someone with the tiniest bit of effort, I think that that's something very powerful. And I love the power that caviar has. Everyone knows it makes a statement at the table, but it's just a little bit of decadence that engrosses the whole room. And that's what I love about caviar.
I love it too. What a statement. Dear friends, I'm going to indulge and feed the fabulous Kara Chamberlain. We've done that many times together, and it's so exciting because Kara led this amazing project with Regis Sova to create our own caviar. So, dear friends, we're having JCB Caviar Bubbles. We'll tell you about it. But first, I'm going to do my dream. I'm going to go over a beautiful oyster shell. Voila! And now, this is caviar and this lovely oyster shell spoon. We never use silver, it's changing the fabric and the combination of the caviar, and I'm going to do the same. But often you do it this way, you see?
A little bump on your hand.
That's right. And why there?
So what you want to accomplish when you're tasting caviar, because it is so delicate, the reason why you don't use silver is because it'll actually affect the flavor profile of caviar. It will take over on the delicate beads of caviar. But what caviar is really well known for is a lot of saltiness to it. But if you add it just to a bit of the softest part of your skin, it just extracts that little bit of saltiness that you get on your skin. So it's the purest way to taste caviar without any impact from other utensils. So that's why we love to just use that tiny part of your hand. I know it seems a little strange, but it actually is the best way that you can try caviar at its finest.
I think you should try it that way as well.
I can do that.
So, dear friends, we're going to do, it looks like we're doing shots of tequila, but who wants tequila when you can have caviar? Look at this. We do this.
Yes,
we
do.
double fist.
We do indeed. Oh, I went ahead.
And tell us what you think the wine adds to it.
So what we're introducing today is the JCB Caviar Sparkling. So this is a Cremant coming from Burgundy. So we love caviar so much in our sturgeon form and in the food form that we had to make a bubble in honor of that. Something that also signified the beautiful beads and the elegance that we get from caviar as the food. We wanted it to reflect in the wine. And that is what we're tasting here today. We just got it in, came right around Thanksgiving, perfect time for the holidays. But our ultimate goal with this one is a food pairing dream. Something that could really offset and really balance out with the power of caviar and with the power of other dishes. It really heightens the palate, this great complexity, this nice acidity. That's what I love the most. So this wine is actually 85% Chardonnay and 15% Aligoté, coming from our Premier Cru regions in Burgundy. Aligoté is a varietal that you don't hear too often, but what it's really well known for is its acidity. It adds that extra pop, a little bit more citrus tones to it. So we want that acid to counterbalance with food components, particularly really rich food like caviar. So we felt that it was a match made in heaven.
Ooh.
Oh, yes.
If you all want to go to heaven,
This
a
is
match made in hell. If hell great, isn't it sometimes?
It can be. You find that really imbalanced pairing, ooh, it can really offset your palate. This does not. It is harmony. It just sings right as you taste it. Oh, I love it.
Very pristine, and the balance is extraordinary. And dear friends, we got to realize we spent over 10 years crafting this idea and the perfect blend, really. And it's very difficult to do because you want to try to achieve exactly what Kara described. And it's not that easy because you have one of the elements in wine that is dosage. Maybe you want to explain what that is. As I open,
our next grade of caviar.
that was our JCB Royal, the
is.
king of the king, and now we're going for the Supreme.
Oh yes, and I can talk about that in a minute. But what Jean-Charles was mentioning when it came to our dosage. So dosage is actually the added sugar content that we put back in a bottle of bubbles. When you first make bubbles, all fermentation happens within the bottle itself. That's how you get that bright effervescence in the bottle. It has to happen within the bottle itself, but it absorbs and basically sucks out all of that sugar content. Dosage is just adding a little bit back. We want to add a little bit of sweetness. So this particular wine has 10 to 12 grams per liter of dosage. So just a little bit of sweetness, but it's not. We do not call it a sweet wine. It is still a very, very dry wine, but it does have a heightened bit of fruitness to the back of the palate, which really pairs wonderfully with a lot of our dishes. So it's a food pairing dream, as I mentioned before. And as we talked about the other grades of caviar, so as you're trying to select your caviars for the holidays, when you're going to your store, or if you're trying to select online, when you're looking at grades, every purveyor of caviar is gonna be a bit different. We love Reggisova. They've worked with us here locally, and they make all of our private label products. So we have our own JCB line. So we highly encourage you to enjoy our caviar, but by all means, just enjoy what you please. But when you're trying to decipher which caviar is for you, just look at the different tiers. And so there are always about 3 different tiers for every style of caviar. And it's not a matter of necessarily quality, but about palate. So as you can even see on these 2 grades, so we have our Royal, which is a dark, rich black color, a little bit smaller beads. Then we have the Supreme, which has a little bit more of a color to it, has almost like an olive green, and a roundness to the bead adds an extra pop to it, all about texture. So you'll see that everyone has a little bit different. So once you find the one you love, keep on enjoying.
And if you have nails like Kara, you can eventually just scoop in.
Sure can.
You got to show us how you do that.
Oh goodness. All right, well, I'll see how I'll do that.
I'm going to go for more. I'm a huge fan of the Supreme. I love it.
I love the Supreme.
You did it.
Well, see, the Royal is actually one of my favorites. So I'm going to take a taste of the Supreme because
She likes to be the queen. As she's the queen, she needs the king. Makes a lot of sense.
Sure does. Always
So
with
big
it.
difference. Maybe a quick description of the difference of the two.
Absolutely. So when it comes to the Royal, I find it to be a little more, it's almost a little more balanced on the palate. It's a little bit more smooth, has a little bit more of a minerality component. It's not as briny. It's not as, has as much salt content as, say, the Royal. The Royal, when I taste it, it's like you're part of the ocean. It's the sea, and it's bringing you back to that seaside shore. So this one just has a little bit of refinedness, a little austerity, a little more restraint. This one, it's right there in your face. You have that power, you have that flavor. So it's just a matter of finding which one suits you. I have to say though, I usually always go for the Royal. It tends to be my favorite, but the Supreme is going perfect with this wine. It just balances out exactly how I want it, and I find it to just be a lot more heightened, and I'm kind of favoring the Royal this time, the Supreme this time. Didn't see that coming.
Well, we can maybe mix the two.
Absolutely.
But the beauty here is we don't have to share. We're just together, Kara. So we're going to be able to have a tete-a-tete.
Ooh.
And we will be able to enjoy caviar because in our life, in 2022, we're celebrating this new year very soon. We will be able to enjoy caviar in all our locations. In Napa proper, Chateau Buena Vista,
Yes.
caviar and chocolate. At the lounge, as we always have here in Yountville, in Rutherford, in St. Helena, and in Calistoga.
At Calistoga Depot.
Woohoo! So, dear friends, remember JCB Caviar. We don't add caviar into the bubbles like we do with the vodka, or in the vodka, it's an infusion of the caviar eggs into the tank as we make the vodka. Here, it's just to tell you it goes amazingly well with caviar. So we hope you're enjoying the New Year as much as we are. You're going to have an amazing time celebrating. Be excessive from the ocean to the earth to the sky. Let's keep dreaming.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Cheers.